What happened to Kunlun while Iron Fist was away? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites for you to understand, and then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective company. Make sure you check back later this week for our interview with the writer of this story, and don't forget, things get retooled and left out to make our videos work, so I highly recommend picking up this one yourself, as we needed to jump around a little. This man? He is Daniel Rand, but you may know him better as Iron Fist, the living weapon. He's sitting at a bar, emotionless, just going through the motions while being interviewed by this woman. You see, Iron Fist is not a secret superhero that hides his face. Everyone knows Danny Rand is Iron Fist, and this fascinates the woman. She wants to know where it all began, so he tells her, what does he have to lose? He explains that his father brought his mother, his business partner, and Danny himself when Danny was 10 years old to the mountains. His father was looking for the mystical land of Kunlun, which only appears to the world at certain times. He explains how the hike was treacherous and how Harold, his father's partner, was fed up with this wild goose chase, so he launched a flare in hopes of getting the whole group rescued. He then explains how an avalanche ruined everything, as it killed his father. The woman just stares at Danny, fascinated by this whole story. The tragedy, the heartbreak, it makes him so sexy. Her name is Brenda, and as he goes through the motions, Danny brings her to the car and back to his loft. He brushes his teeth, shows her his chest tattoo, and he brushes his teeth again. But he still can't sleep. The only thing he can do is sit up in bed, staring out into the city, where he can see the ruins of what was once Rand Tower. He can't bring himself to tear it down, nor can he bring himself to rebuild it. He considers it a grave marker as he remembers back to the next part of his origin, as you would call it. Danny remembers seeing his father fall to his death, and the look in his eyes, the look of a crazed man on his last leg. Danny then stands up in his loft, thinking of these memories. Brenda sits up in bed. Can't sleep, huh? Come back to bed, I have an idea of what'll help you with that. And Danny jumps out his window. Above him, helicopters are coming in for the assault with ninjas rappelling down the side of his building, possibly hundreds of them. I hate ninjas, Danny thinks to himself as he runs along the side of the building and they open fire on him. With a rather maniacal grin, he thinks, this is what I needed. I am the living weapon. And he begins to take out the ninjas using their own rappelling lines to swing alongside his own building, taking out even more of them. But Danny's powers are not in his kicks or his acrobatics. They are in the Iron Fist, and he charges up his clenched fist full of rage, and he punches clean through a helicopter. As fire begins to rain from the sky, he clings to the edge of his building and he sees the destroyed Rand building in the distance, and he thinks to himself, it's father's crazy eyes staring back at me. Climbing back into his room, he sees the second thing that he hates. Undead ninjas, as one of them is holding Brenda by the throat. He throws his fist back to charge it, and he launches into another punch, only to realize he didn't actually charge the Iron Fist. Crappity crap are the only words that he can get out before the undead ninja knocks him across the room. Danny then gets back to his feet, blurting out, Debbie, run. And she responds with, it's Brenda, you jerk, as she is thrown aside by another undead ninja. Bring me the girl, it says to Danny, and he responds by taking another swing, but with a charged Iron Fist, taking off the undead ninja's head. Well, that was weird, he says, and Brenda slaps him. Oh, that's weird? Not the zombie robot that tried to cut me into pieces? Barbie, calm down. It's Brenda, B-R-E-N-D-A, Brenda. But Danny still isn't paying attention as he turns his back to Brenda, trying to take another shot at whoever is sneaking up on him, only to stop inches from a small girl's face. Mr. Fist, I find you, tell you, important, big time. Get back to Kunlun. And the little girl passes out. By now, you're probably asking yourself, what happened in Kunlun? The death of Xiao Lao, the mighty dragon of Kunlun lore, and the lack of the Chosen One as Iron Fist wasn't in the mystical city at this time. The city was then assaulted by the undead ninjas, and the Dragon Lord UT needed to step in and fight against them. There would be no talking this day. Back with Danny Rand and Brenda, they laid the young girl down to rest, and he leaps down the elevator. As he runs to his method of teleportation, he thinks back to the day that his father fell to his death once again. Danny remembers the moments after his father perished and seeing Harold, his partner, holding the rope. Harold let the rope go, and Wendell Rand fell to his death because he was betrayed. He may have been insane at this point, but he didn't kill himself. Danny's mother holds him close with tears streaming down her face. She screams at him, "Danny, you promised me that you will make Harold pay! You will make him pay!" But Harold looks at her, heartbroken. "Heather, I did it for you. For us. Now take this rope, I'm begging you." But she turns away from him. "You and your whole family are crazy! Remember that! I tried to save you all!" And Harold walked away, forcing Danny and his mother to climb out of the hole that they got buried in. At the top, they discovered what Wendell Rand came here looking for: the bridge to Kunlun. But this story doesn't have a happy ending, as wolves came out of nowhere chasing Danny and his mother to the bridge, and she told Danny to run. "Don't look back and run!" So Danny did, and he ran as fast as his little legs would carry him over that bridge. But as he reached the other side, he turned back to see his mother get torn to pieces by wolves. And as the wolves approached him, he found himself saved by the warriors of Kunlun. Back with reality, Danny is now in the other dimension that holds Kunlun, and he's walking towards the city as more of the undead ninjas stand in his way. Built of rotting flesh and robotic parts, these ninjas are relentless, but he annihilates them one at a time. Tired, hungry, and pissed the hell off, he enters the mighty city to see that it is in flames, and the mighty head of Xiao Lao has been cut off its impressive body and speared in the center of the city. Back with Brenda and the young girl, Brenda has brought her to the local hospital. As Brenda tries to figure out what's going on with the local police, a group of nurses who look alike enter the hospital, and they slowly walk down the hallway, straight-faced and intimidating. No one stops them as they grow closer to the young girl's bed. As Danny Rand looks at the ashes of Kunlun, a single old man approaches him. "Where were you? What was more important than saving us? Protecting us? Champion, why did you leave?" And he turns to the old man, grabbing him by the shirt and lifting him off the ground. "Stop! Where is my master? Where is UT?" So another survivor leads him up a hill to find the UT with his head removed. And Danny finally breaks down into tears with how far this has gone. One of the survivors then reaches out to Danny, to the Iron Fist. "You turned us down the first time, and you chose wrong. I now offer you a chance to choose again. Your Thunderer, our UT, has died. Your people have fallen and the city has been destroyed. I'm asking you to stay. Lead us as the new UT." But Danny can no longer hold his rage back. "This place took everything from me. My father, my mother, and now my master, and you offer me life?" With a single kick, Danny splits the Tree of Immortality. "I was promised vengeance, and now you offer me a kingdom?" The people of Kunlun just stare in shock. "What have you done?" "Kunlun still owes me my vengeance!" Iron Fist yells out. But the old man isn't a regular old man, and he charges up a mighty hit, stating, "You arrogant, pugilant whelp," and he knocks Danny back for miles. Good night, Daniel Rand. Back at the hospital, those nurses turned out to be more ninjas, and the little girl turned out to be a monk from Kunlun named Pai, and the warriors of Kunlun have come here to save her. But while they are holding back the nurse ninjas, they discover Pai has escaped the building with Brenda, and the two of them have fled out of the building. Danny Rand lands in the snow from his hit to the chest, and he turns over to see a giant, hulking undead ninja. The monster removes his hood to reveal the face of Wendell Rand, Danny's father. "I knew you would come back for me, my son." In response, Danny looks up at him. "You killed my father." And he charges up another Iron Fist swing, and he uses all of his chi to hit this monster as hard as he can, only to break his forearm. Danny looks down at his arm, his broken arm. Iron has shattered, and this is impossible. So Danny charges up his other arm to take another massive swing, but this time the monster catches his hand and crushes it. "Son, the Thunderer didn't just give you any fists, he gave you mine, and I want them back." Meanwhile, Brenda and Pai are hiding from the nurse's true form, a multi-legged, multi-armed spider woman. Prepared to die, Pai steps out to fight this monster, but Brenda pushes her aside to protect her, and then leaps onto this beast to begin fighting against it. This is when we discover that Brenda really isn't just some pushover girl, as she uses her own fighting styles to lay waste to this creature and take its sword. Landing back in front of Pi, Pi just shockingly asks her, "You know Kung Fu?" And Brenda tells her, "No, not Kung Fu, but I know a little bit about everything else." "Amusing," states the lead Kunlun warrior as he approaches them, "to watch women pretend to be men. Little Pi, where have you been? You have something of mine and I'd like it back." "Run, Pi!" Brenda shouts as she gets ready to fight again. On the other side of the world, in a completely different dimension, Danny Rand lays in the snow with two broken arms in front of the monster that looks like his father. "You are not him. You are not my father!" The beast begins to lay into Danny, knocking him left, then right. "I gave you those fists, champ. Don't undervalue them. Well, it was more of a loan, and now you've had your fun, but playtime's over, and I need them back." As he lay there in pools of his own blood, Danny looks up at the monster. "I know who you really are, but I killed you." This beast was the final test to become the Iron Fist, and Danny cut his head off, but he has found a new one, the head of his father. Then one of the ninjas grabs Danny by his head and forces him to truly see the monster in front of him, as it has the heads of every one of Danny's dead lovers, friends, and his own blood. It's an abomination of flesh, metal, death, and perversion, and it wants to absorb Danny Rand for his fists of iron. But a familiar sound comes rumbling upon all of them, as an old man rides an avalanche down to save Danny. Back with Pi, she runs down a nearby alley trying to get away, but she falls over, dropping the item that both the members of the Kunlun and the undead ninjas are seeking, the item that she fled from Kunlun with, and the reason for all of this, an egg, which opens up revealing the new Kunlun dragon. It jumps on Pi and she thinks to herself, she is so dead, but it just says "Gork" and it licks her. Out of nowhere, the lead member of Kunlun grabs the dragon by the neck and throws Pi against a wall. "Davos," she says as she tries to recover, but Davos says to her, "Thank you for protecting the precious egg during this time of upheaval. Now listen closely, child. I have plans to offer you a place of some importance in the new kingdom. I just ask that you kneel." Pi says nothing, but Brenda and the local police arrive behind Davos and they open fire on him, shooting him so many times that they blow off his arms, leaving nothing behind. But he just stands back up. "You ask a god for submission?" And he shows that his arms are nothing more than cybernetic parts at this point, and he sends out electrified tentacles to fry and kill almost everyone there. He then grabs Pi and he leaves the scene, but Brenda gets up and looks at the captain of the police. "Get up, Lee, and stop crying. When you start something, you gotta finish it, no matter the cost." Back in the Himalayas, Danny wakes up bandaged with a beautiful woman on top of him. The woman is Sparrow, an old friend of his from his training days, but she now has a blindfold on. She tells Danny that he needs to be the wolf, he needs to fight back, but he just turns from her. "Do you see a wolf, Sparrow?" So she removes her blindfold, revealing no eyes at all. Nothing there. "I don't see anything at all." "I didn't know," Danny says, turning from her. "They took my eyes, but not my will. What did they take from you? What are you going to do about it?" So Danny forces himself to stand up, to push past the pain, to be the man that he should be. He stands up as the Iron Fist, not as Danny Rand. Let's go do some kung fu. Now that, my friends, is where we'll be leaving our story today. The final issue of this amazing series is finally out, and we'll come back to complete the story in about a month, but I highly recommend you guys grabbing issues 7 through 12 of Iron Fist, The Living Weapon. And you can complete it yourself before I get there. Don't forget, we will chat about this video or any other on our Twitter at Comicstorian, and we also have a subreddit r/Comicstorian. We also have a gaming variety channel and a list-based channel, both of which are in the description down below, and I will see you guys next time right here at the Comicstorian channel.